Hi, I'm Sean Keef. I run sales enablement for Skybox Security. Here's a demonstration video covering the Vulnerability Detector feature of vulnerability control. Vulnerability Detector is a technology in vulnerability control that allows Skybox to determine the vulnerability on an asset or network device without doing an active vulnerability scan. It does this by combining two sources of data to deduce vulnerabilities. Source 1 is the Skybox Vulnerability Dictionary. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Source 2 is data about the asset itself. This can come from a variety of places outlined at the top of this slide. Asset and patch management databases can feed us information about hosts, what operating system they're running, what patch level they're at, and what application versions they're running. We can get the same kind of information from an authenticated vulnerability scan. In addition to providing information about the vulnerabilities on an asset, an authenticated scan provides the same kind of information contained in an asset management database. Lastly, we get data from device configuration collection. This gives us the version of the operating system running on the devices and can be correlated with the vulnerabilities we know exist on that version. The asset and network device information is mixed with the Skybox Vulnerability Dictionary. This is a threat feed that is compiled and managed by a specialized team within Skybox. Over 25 sources of vulnerability data are monitored, correlated, and enhanced on a daily basis. Once that new day's data has been managed, it's sent to our customers so they always have the latest data on the latest vulnerabilities. Our dictionary currently has over 65,000 vulnerabilities on over 1,800 products. Before starting the demo, make sure you've downloaded the latest vulnerability dictionary to your demo environment. Let's see how all this works in vulnerability control. In this demo, we're going to import asset data from SCCM. This data is going to come into the system with Microsoft vulnerabilities automatically discovered from missing patches on the hosts. Next, we'll run Vulnerability Detector to discover even more vulnerabilities, especially application vulnerabilities. In the default demo model of vulnerability control, there are over 800 assets and over 7,000 vulnerabilities. We want to show new assets and vulnerabilities being added. This is going to be easiest if we start from a blank slate. So we want to delete all of the existing assets and vulnerabilities. There we go. No more assets, no more vulnerabilities. Next, we'll bring in the SCCM data using a task from the operational console. While there is a task to collect data directly from an SCCM server, we can't use that as we don't have an SCCM server lying about to do a demo from. What we have are some files that were collected from an SCCM server that we can import using the directory import task. Here's one already created. Let's run it. There we go. All done. It took about 2 minutes to run the task on my laptop. Now let's go see the results. If we look at the assets, we see there are 31 hosts imported. We'll use server Ariel as our example. Right now, it only has a single vulnerability, an OS vulnerability from a missing patch. If we look at the services, we can see we know a lot about this server, like what applications it's running. We'll combine that information with our vulnerability dictionary and find some more vulnerabilities. Let's take a look at our vulnerabilities and see how many we currently know about. Looks like there's 1,417 vulnerability occurrences right now. These are all going to be Microsoft vulnerabilities from missing operating system patches. Let's go back over to the operational console and run our vulnerability detector task. There are 3 vulnerability detector tasks, one for each type of data we can import. We want the plain old vulnerability detector task to deduce vulnerabilities from SCCM data. I've already made the task. This task just uses all the defaults. Let's run it. All done. This task took about 1.5 minutes to run. Let's see the results. Now we see there are over 43,000 vulnerabilities. If we look at our server aerial, we can see it has over 1,800 vulnerabilities found. This is a powerful demonstration that's easy to do and shows great value for vulnerability control. So in summary, Vulnerability Detector is an excellent technology that allows vulnerability control to discover vulnerabilities without the use of an active vulnerability scanner. This is particularly useful when time is a factor, as Vulnerability Detector runs much faster than active scanning. Thank you for watching this video on the Vulnerability Detector feature of vulnerability control. Please visit our website for additional videos and resources.